our elementals, session 2. We're going to be talking about marketing today, some elements to help run your business. For those of you that don't know me, I've been in real estate for about 14 years. This is my second year serving on the ALC at Keller Williams. And I mostly specialize with investors, some luxury properties. I love the listing side, and I also dabble a little bit in commercial. Anybody new to Ignite or just now getting on for the first time that want to say hello, introduce themselves or anything, or tell us a little bit about yourself if you're a new agent and why you got into the market or the industry? Anybody want to say anything right now? No newbies? No? Okay, well, welcome everyone. So basically, once again, our goal today is really just to know the difference between marketing and prospecting. We're going to examine a few methods and identify some characteristics, the pros and cons of marketing. All right, so the first thing we're going to be looking at and focusing on is to grow our business and to run our business. Today, we're going to focus on lead generate for our buyers and sellers and market our listings. Marketing versus prospecting. What does that mean? Anybody want to throw some answers out there? What's the difference? Come on, y'all, participate.
I'll participate.
Okay.
So I feel marketing is when you actually have a listing or you're trying to market yourself.
Okay.
Whereas prospecting, you're trying to get the listing or get the buyer.
Exactly. So marketing is a tool that enhances your prospecting, whereas prospecting is active and is usually not money intensive, whereas marketing can be passive. Here's the graph here. Marketing is money intensive, passive, long-term results. Prospecting is time intensive, proactive, and you get immediate results. So like Kathy was saying, an example could be like for marketing, actually putting out a door hanger on somebody's door, and then the follow-up would kind of be your prospecting, calling the owner to see if they got it, to see if that's a potential lead or somebody, a potential customer that you could possibly eventually get in your database, which we had that class, I think before last, we talked a lot about database. So hopefully if you were in that class, you can kind of pull together some of the things we're going to talk about today. Any other types of marketing anyone want to share that they use, they find that's very beneficial in their business right now?
I'm launching a social media campaign, and I believe it's going to be proactive in getting and generating me leads. Mm-hmm. So it's a marketing tool that I'm going to be using to generate leads.
That's awesome. Anybody else?
Oh, I have a question about the marketing.
Yes.
When I'm on social media, I see people, they have properties and they have courtesy of. Does our office do that? Like if you have a listing, can I market your listing?
Now, see, well, the thing about that is, for me, like sharing someone else's listing, I always like to get permission. That's okay. Just me. But a lot of agents, if they see something and they know that particular realtor, they'll share it to their page. But I like to get permission from that realtor to say, hey, I love your listing. It's okay if I share it, and try to bring you a buyer. I think it's a courtesy thing if you do that. That's the way I prefer to do it. But I think that's,
Well, is there anyone in the office that, that will do that you know of,
that you can share their listings?
Yes, like, because I don't see it too much with people in our office, but I see it at other, like sometimes I just see people just post like all the listings in our office.
I would, ask that particular realtor if you see their listing on, message them and say, hey, look, I love this. I would like to bring a buyer. Is it okay if I share your listing on my page and try to market and get some business? Or sometimes we do have some agents that allow you to do open houses too. So you might want to talk to them about possibly doing an open house, and that way you can market from that angle as well. So not only would you be able to share it, you could say, I'm going to be at this house on this day, and then you could feed the neighborhood that way as well and get more interest in the property, even though it's not your listing. Or they might partner with you for an open house and do it that way, and y'all could double team on the marketing.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else on that? Any other questions? Okay.
I got a listing you can share. I'm getting ready to have a price reduction.
Yeah. Where is that?
It's in Algiers on River Oaks.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Jimmy. I'll reach out to you.
That's perfect. And, maybe put it out on, on our website or our Facebook page and ask if anybody has any listings, that you can do an open house or something like that. We're really not doing a whole lot of that, mostly virtual now. So maybe you can do something virtually. I know I have most of my listings virtual, so you're welcome to share mine as well. I just get with me and I'll get you the information because I have all of them on the virtual tour.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Just wanted to let her know I recently reached out to a listing agent. And he texts back whatever it takes to sell. But I think just the fact that I asked him made a difference.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a courtesy. When you do that, that's what I usually do. I would always contact that realtor, and most of them are like, yeah, sure, definitely share it. The more the merrier. Anybody else? All right. Think deeply marketing. All right, I'm gonna move y'all around here. Let's see, can I move y'all? All right, here's a list. There's a variety of marketing methods to share your message. If you first look at the first list, it has prospecting, which is phone or face-to-face, which is my favorite. For sale by owners, expireds, your neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold. You always want to send out a just sold postcard, just listed to the neighborhood, at least 100 postcards, and you'll probably get some feedback from that. Any kind of community outreach, such as a charity. Like for me, I do a lot of stuff with my sorority. Any kind of volunteer work, maybe your church. Wear your Keller Williams t-shirt. Let them know that you're a realtor. Key relationships such as corporations, builders. If you're doing a drive-by, you might actually see somebody working on a house. Stop and ask them questions, give them your card. I've picked up a builder like that, just asking questions and say, hey, what's going on? Have a relationship with your banks, your lenders. You always want to know different vendors because they can also send you business. Have them in your sphere as well. Third-party data companies, investors, any kind of teaching and speaking opportunities. When you go out to lunch, although we're doing curbside, you can still hand out some cards. You always want to try to at least get maybe 10 cards to someone or some kind of reach or touch every day. Door-to-door canvassing, networking events. A lot of this is altered now because of COVID-19, but these are the things that you should be thinking about doing. Hopefully when the malls open again, we can do the booths and kiosks and stuff like that, walk-ins, and farming. You can either do geographic, which is your region, could be your neighborhood, or demographic if you just want to kind of focus in on maybe you have some peers in a social group, such as your different age group. Of course, open houses, which are now mostly virtual, seminars, contests, client appreciation events, so many of these. Of course, your Spear, your allied resources, which are your vendors, which are like your title companies, maybe your appraisal company, if you have a favorite that you use to measure your listings. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I went back. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Trying to move y'all over. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, so clientele, then we have marketing such as online advertising, radio, TV, newspapers, not so much newspapers anymore. Some people or realtors like to have their information on their vehicles. That's another avenue. I know Keller Williams has plates that you can put on the back of your car with your phone number. I actually had somebody call me in the Chick-fil-A line because they saw my number on the back of the plate. So that's another way of getting some kind of business. Always magazines such as Homes and Land. There's a lot of different ways we have listings. Of course, you have to have listings to do that. So you want to focus on that as well. Grocery carts, all these different avenues, you can, get your name out there. Social media, of course, is really big. You should definitely have a Facebook page, a personal page, and a business page. I have both. And the reason why you want to do that, on your business page, it should really just be about your business, your listings. And on your social page, you may have some things, a little bit of both. And I find if you have a mixture on your social page, your personal page, eventually those people move over to your business page. So if they start following you on your personal page, you want to eventually invite them to your business page. So they'll become somebody in your sphere. So when they think about real estate, they'll think about you. So when you're marketing on your social page, you might want to have a little mixture, but still, make sure they know you're a realtor, number one. And then once you get that relationship, invite them to your business page, which is where you're going to have all of your real estate listings and everything else that's going on in your business. What else? Radio, TV. I don't think we do a whole lot of that. Blogs are really good. I know Home Keeper does a blog that I use. I usually post that to my social media as well. LinkedIn is good. You can add a lot of different things there, as well as your Twitter and Instagram. So I find those to be the most popular. Those are the ones that I use the most: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And now direct mail is still good. Postcards, campaigns, and I know with Command, you can set up your clients once you get them all in your database to get on a campaign. If it's a for sale by owner, I put them in there. I put expired contact there, and then just constantly feed it, send them stuff. For me lately, it's usually been about COVID-19, things they can do to, so far as washing their hands, where they can find information on unemployment, or if they need, whatever they may need that, they're going through, that they need assistance, and I kind of post that information, even if it's something as simple as, creating a calendar or agenda, because you'll be surprised how many people just don't know where to begin when they're at home, not having a schedule. So even something as simple as that, stuff of value, you want to market it to your clients, and then that way they'll reach out to you. Just from doing the database, I've already had somebody call me to list their house. So definitely want to use all of those different tools and figure out which one you're really, really good at. So you might prefer to do some, versus others, but they all are really, really good tools. Any questions on any of these? Anyone want to share anything that they're doing that they find very successful from this list?
Well, this hasn't been real successful yet, but I have been, before all this, I was also Uber and Lyft driving, and everyone that got in my car got a card. I did get 2 people that were interested in becoming real estate agents, though.
Awesome. Are they in school right now getting their licenses, or what you follow up? What happened with them?
So far, they were in school. They wanted to get the information on what it would take so that once they got finished with their actual school, they could look into becoming agents.
Awesome. That's great. Anybody else? And I would say too, for me, I would always put like maybe 10 business cards in a Ziploc. You could try that. And at the end of the day, you should have 0 cards. So if you have 5 or 6 cards left, then you need to figure out a way to get rid of those cards, whether it's like going to the grocery store or whatever you need to do to get rid of them. But you always want to have at least 10 contacts a day in order to grow your business. Even if it's like if somebody delivered to my house, hey, here's a card. I'm a realtor. Somebody or yourself, you ever need a realtor, give me a call. So even everywhere you go, you should be giving out your cards and let people know what you do. Even when you go to the gym, even though we can't go now, but when you go back to the gym, that's another avenue. A lot of business in those gyms. So I've gotten a lot of business just from working out and going to the gym. So just let people know who you are, what you do, whether it be a shirt or a mat or just a tote bag, something that says, hey, I'm a realtor. So just keep that in mind. And kind of think of it, at least for me, it's kind of like who I am, and it's also what I do. So you want to let them know, hey, I'm a realtor, call me. All right, next, here's a few questions we're going to dive into. It says, how do you know where the customer is and how do you meet them there? Anybody want to tackle that one?
Ask questions.
How do you know where the customer is and how do you meet them there?
You ask them questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, you talk to them, engage them in conversation.
Exactly. And if you don't know what kind of questions, that's when we refer back to our scripts. And I know Tonda, I think she's on here. I know she said she had been practicing her scripts and was getting really, really good at it. So this is an area where you can definitely ask questions. And if you're not sure which questions to ask, practice your scripts. How do you communicate your value proposition? How do you do that? Anybody?
I need help with that one.
Well, how do you communicate your value? Why do they want to use you? That's basically what it's saying. You want to sell yourself. Let them know what you've done in the past. If you're a new agent, kind of tie in, that you were good in sales, maybe not in that particular area, but let them know that you're qualified. Let them know that you're going to work hard. It could be different things like that. Let them know, you need to sell yourself to that person or client and let them know that you are of value.
Let them know how the skills that you've had in the past tie into this. The fact that I was in banking before, I can help people with questions they may have on getting pre-qualified.
Exactly. Or whatever your background is. You want to tie it in and let them know, hey, look, I can be of value to you if you use me as your realtor. How can you come from a contribution or connect in a meaningful way?
I want to add one more thing to that. If you are a homeowner and you've ever purchased a home, that's a value too, because you've gone through the process, and them knowing that you've gone through the process, you're not just figuring it out along the way. If you're a fairly new agent, or even for some experienced agents.
I actually, that's a good, thank you. That's a really good example. Because I am a homeowner and I've been through the process, and I've started to use that with some people that are like, oh, I'm afraid. And I'm like, oh, it's so easy. I was like 23 when I purchased my first home.
Exactly. That's perfect.
and they didn't have nearly as many, well, I didn't know. My realtor didn't tell me about all the, opportunities that they have, such as down payment assistance and stuff like that. I said, so it's pretty easy.
Right.
Thank you so much. That's a good, I can definitely use that. I like that. That
Yeah.
seems more for
Mhm.
me.
Okay, the next question. How can you come from contribution or connect in a meaningful way?
Example we just
Can you
gave.
give them? For example, if you know they want to sell a house, what can you give them?
Home buying tips. Oh, home selling tips.
Like maybe a free CMA, like, hey, I can do
Oh, yeah.
comps and let you know what your house is worth. For the buyer, you were saying, like send them some properties and buyer tips, all of that. You can send that in your emails, through your database. There's so many different things. Like let them know, the process to buying a house. I actually do a flyer on that. Like these are the steps. This is what you need to do. All of those different little tips you can, send that to your client.
I have a question. Where are you creating these flyers? I'm having a little bit of a time trying to figure out, like I want my content to look professional, and I just have not figured out a place to get that professional content where I can insert my own information.
Well, for me, I have a virtual assistant that I use, that I work with.
We
Okay.
are also about to go a little bit deeper into that after this. So good question, yet hang tight.
Hey, Katie.
And Katie, at the end, she's going to actually walk you through, some designs and campaigns in Command that'll help you with that.
Thank you. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. So, but you can like create flyers with, something could just be virtual home buying program and tell them how they can buy a house. Like say, okay, you can virtual consult, then you can electronically sign. You can tell them, then we're going to do the closing. This is how long it's going to take. Let them know you're going to send them some searches via email. The deposit can be picked up, with your title company, virtual tours, the inspection process where you can come with your gloves, your mask, or whatever. Just let them know that you can still do everything, like you would normally do. So you can put all that in a flyer. So many different ones with the COVID-19 things to do when you come home. Like I did one like that, like wash your hands and the whole process, the steps to doing that. There's so many different things you can do. It could be something as simple as telling them protocol when you get home, like take your shoes off, spray your shoes, your keys, throw away receipts. You can go on and on and on with different kind of ideas to send your clients, and they actually like that kind of stuff. So that's some of the things that you can try. You can do flyers on money, give them suggestions, ideas on what they could do when they get their stimulus checks. How should you spend it? What should you do with it? Give them the links to where they can get more information. There's a lot of different things you can do. And you kind of want to do a lot of variety and then see what kind of feedback you get. And then you'll know if you want to do more of that or just kind of mix it up. Or it could be stuff like, do it yourself home type of things. Like, for people like to work in their gardens or outside. Tons of stuff, a lot of different things. And I know Katie's going to go over some of those designs later on. If you're not techie, you can, like I said, for me, I have a virtual assistant that helps me with my designs. And those, are very easy to get right now because a lot of people are not working and a lot of people are moving over that are on that administrative side. Or you can be, more creative and do it yourself. You can do a little bit of both. I do both. All right, the next question. How important do you think branding and aesthetic consistency is in your marketing? How do you achieve that?
I think it's very important. because just like the brands that we recognize, in fact, I'm a visual person and I may not be able to tell you the name of the brand of a certain item. Oh, let me think. I don't know, some type of product that I buy, and I may not be able to tell you the name of it, but I recognize it in the packaging, and that's bad. You don't know, they don't carry it anymore, but you recognize what it looks like and you can go there and get it. So what you want to do is, like you said, every chance you get, you want to have your brand in front of people. Like you all for KW. Me, I have mugs, I have pins, I have umbrellas, but you want to become recognizable, your colors or whatever. So every chance you get, you want to put it in front of people.
Yes. And another thing too, once again, it goes back to your database. I think all of these things kind of line up with each other. I know we talked about with leads, you want to have at least 19 to connect. So if you're constantly putting it out there over and over and over and over, eventually they'll, when they think of you, they'll think of you as a realtor or Keller Williams or whatever, you know, area you want them to think about you. Like if you know you like to do, you know, investment properties or new construction, first time home buyers, just constantly put yourself out there. So if we're looking at leads, you're looking at least 19 to connect, is what Keller Williams says. So you're looking at 4 touches, quarterly phone call, just calling these people from your database at least 4 times, 12 touches, which is like monthly emails, something of value, like we just talked about the COVID-19 or whatever you want to send. 2 touches direct mail. For me, I like to do a calendar at the end of the year, you know, so they'll have my calendar on their fridge or wherever they want to put it. Or it could be a Saints calendar, or football, or whatever sport you like. Or it could be something like a festival schedule. In New Orleans, we love festivals. So that's something you can do for 2021, not this year because we're not having any, but that's something you can send out in January, and a lot of people will save those. So whenever they look at that calendar, they'll think about you. And of course, at the end of the year, you might want to do an annual get together, or maybe something you want to do with your client, whether it be to take them to lunch or coffee or whatever, just to reconnect. As for your contacts, you need 36 to convert those, which is 4 touches, again, phone calls, 26 touches, which could be bi-weekly emails, 2 touches, events, get-togethers, or either 4 touches, direct mail, calendar. So those just some things that Keller Williams recommend, you know, to keep you out there in front of your clients. And then the last one is should you follow up with the leads generated from your marketing? So now you did the marketing and now you have the leads. Now what?
Make a phone call.
Yeah.
Calls are important.
Yes.
You know, you have something personal, one-on-one to them, so that they know that you know that they're there.
Exactly. Constantly returning the calls. Don't, if you don't return their calls, they're gonna just move on to the next person. So once you do all this work, you do all this marketing, you got to make sure you answer your phone and follow up and let them know that they're important to you. And always thank them, you know, for their time, for just even having a conversation with you. Anything else on this? Any questions before we move forward? Everybody good? Okay. All right, take action, create and post marketing materials in Command. And that's something we're going to talk about at the end. We're going to let Katie go into Command with that. And here's just a sample of some of the designs that she's going to be going over in Command. Is you can basically choose your template, so many different things. Whatever you want to focus on, you'll be able to see these different designs in Command. All right, here is a postcard. If you want to take a second and just kind of look at it. And then I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Oh, sorry. Back here. Trying to move y'all over. All right. What do you think the purpose of this marketing piece? What is it trying to do? If you
Open house.
open house, okay. Anything else?
Just trying to showcase the house, the home that's for sale.
Okay. All right. How might you improve it? I mean, like, what needs to be done a little different?
The open house part, the typeface on that open house needs to be a little bit larger.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you see you're invited, but you,
Have to search for.
Right. You're invited to what? It's like you have
Right.
to really read. to
Where?
see- You're right. So it's not in big bold print.
The font, for the, I guess, the group, I'm not sure, but it's,
exactly. Who
Okay. What else? What is the main thing that's missing? Like the obvious. I see it. Take a look at it again. What is really missing from this postcard?
contact information,
That is small. Is no phone. I don't see a phone number.
number,
I don't
email.
see a realtor. I just see, the name of the group. Who do you call? Okay, what's the main?
The address.
What's the date? When is the
The
open house?
date.
Oh.
Exactly. There's no date. It says
says
sign us on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday, but it doesn't give you the exact.
It doesn't give you a date. It's like, so that's some of the things you want to think about when you're doing your open house postcards. You need a contact information, let them know when to come. It's a beautiful postcard, but it's missing a lot of important information.
I see a lot of Facebook ads where they're showing an open house, and a lot of people on my list, my friends list, they're realtors from other places, and they just have an open house with just like this with just the day and the time and the street address. I don't even know what city they're talking about because my friends are all over the place.
Right. So definitely keep that in mind when you're putting out postcards. You want to make sure that it's a large font telling them it's open house. Let them know the date, so they'll know exactly the purpose of this marketing piece. What method of marketing could be used to reach the audience? What audience do you think this is for?
Social media.
Yeah, it could be all right. What do you think the purpose is of this piece?
To tell you what's going on in the neighborhood.
Right.
But there's Gem Heights. I mean, we're not sure. I mean, I guess we're not really sure where that is.
No, there's no address. It's just
what
saying
state?
Northlake Homes.
Right.
Yeah, address. This looks like a piece you would probably want to give to what? A neighborhood in the area for somebody looking for seller, a seller list.
Yes.
So that's mainly the purpose of it. You're trying to get listings, but it's leaving a lot of information out. What else can we do to improve it? I don't see a realtor name.
Right, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
the person could give you their name and phone number and say, call to action,
Right.
call me for your free CMA or something.
Right. So we agree that the audience is definitely, we're trying to get a seller, right? What else can we do to make this? All right, let's look at one more. Okay, how about this? You got this, Armstrong and Company. What do you think the purpose of this piece?
I mean, no contact info again.
Right.
They do have the addresses.
So
Yeah.
this might be something like you would maybe see like in a magazine like Homes and Land, the agent actually trying to promote herself and say, hey, look, I just listed these homes. I got one pending. We can't really tell if it's the neighborhoods or where they are. It's just a lot of information missing here as well. What else can we do to improve it?
Contact information first and foremost.
Definitely.
A picture of the agent as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of anything else. That's all I can think of.
I don't see the square footage.
Oh, you're right.
That
To
would
me-
be important.
Yeah, to me, it's plain, it's bland, and I wouldn't give it a second look.
I wouldn't
Exactly.
either, especially with that light in the middle.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Especially the picture on there, you know, and a lot of times, you know, you can do photos now where you can have a picture of the front and then you have a few pictures of the inside, so people can kind of get a better, you know, idea of what the property looks like. There's nothing telling them where they can get more information, where they can see more photos.
Website, you're right.
No link to say, you know, go here and get more information, none of that. So all of these things you want to keep in mind when you're creating your pieces. Very important information you don't want to leave out. All right, designs and command. And we talked about this. Social posts. You always want to put your listings on your, everybody has, first of all, everybody have a business page. A real estate
Yes.
business page, not your personal page, your business page. Two different pages, one for your personal and one for your business. Your business page should not have your, you know, your family at the park. It should be your business.
House Hunter Jimmy.
Exactly. Anybody else? Anybody not have a business page?
So I agree with having it separate, and I've always wanted to have it separate. But what I've found is it's very strange that people actually into seeing you and kind of seeing your family. So one of the classes that I took, they basically said if you're going to incorporate it, to put more business in a little family, insert a little family in every once in a while, so that it's not all business and they can kind of see, you know, what it is you're doing.
That's what I do on my personal page. I try to have a little everything: family, business, social, vacation. But once they become your friend on your social, you want to eventually move them over to your business page.
Okay.
And when on your business page, I don't put any of that on my business page. It's just all about the business, all real estate. So that's one way to get them to move over there. Because if you send them a link to your business page and they don't really know you, they may not visit your business page as much because they'd like to see that you're with your family or you on a vacation. Those things get our attention. But once you get their attention, now you want to post your listing. So you want to mix it up. So one day you might be posting about your family. The next day you might be talking about something going on with COVID, a flyer on that. And then the next day you can be posting a listing with a virtual tour. You know, so once you get them following you, they'll keep watching what you're posting because now they find your information informative and they're interested in what you're posting.
Yeah, Nicole said the other day that on your personal page, you should have 5 personal posts for any one business post.
Okay, that's perfect. But everybody does have a business page. Okay.
Not yet. I don't. I'm getting it though. I'm getting one this week. That's part of the media, social media package that I'm working on. So I'll have one by the end of the week.
Does everybody have LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have one.
Who doesn't have a LinkedIn?
Akita.
You definitely want to have that as well.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
You will get leads there as well.
Okay, I'm gonna work on it this week.
There's a lot of business people, a lot of lenders, different corporations, a lot of different networking there on LinkedIn. So you definitely want to have a LinkedIn. Twitter is also good. You know, you can post your open houses or whatever there, and you know, different things about your business on Twitter. What about Instagram? Everybody have Instagram?
I
Yes.
do.
Yes, but I'm not real keen on it. I don't really know how to use it.
Well, the thing about Instagram is more of a social thing, kind of like posting your family and your vacations and stuff like that. But if you want to use it for your business, that's when you want to use hashtags. You know, there's a lot of people who put hashtag at the beach, hashtag realtor New Orleans. So if you're posting on Instagram, the key there, if you're going to use it for marketing, is to use hashtags. So if you go to Instagram and you click hashtag realtor, if you constantly posting stuff, hashtag realtor, when somebody else looking for a realtor, it'll come up. Your information will come up. So that's how you use Instagram. So, but it's mostly, you know, a lot of different things. You can mix it up on Instagram. I use it as well. And some people tie in their Facebook with the Instagram. They post at the same time. I do it separately because I don't do as much on Instagram. I do a lot. But whenever I do post something that's related to my business, I always hashtag realtor, hashtag Keller Williams, hashtag Keller Williams Realty. You always want to tie back in. So if anybody else goes to that hashtag, it'll bring them back to you. So if they're looking for a New Orleans realtor and you hashtag, it'll come up on their page. Does that make sense?
Yep, I've heard about that hashtagging.
Yeah. So that's the reason why people do it. So it works on Instagram. Definitely. All right. Campaigns. I think Katie's going to talk about that. All right. Recap and ahas. My favorite part. All right. How has your thinking changed at all? Even if it's one thing today from just some of the things we talked about. Even if it's the postcard, anything you want to share. Anybody?
Well, that little piece we just did on Instagram, because I'm like Jimmy, I actually don't have an Instagram account either. I'm working on it, you guys. But
Okay.
but how you're using it, how it's used, and the importance of the hashtags, that's an aha for me, because honestly, I just didn't know. I thought people just posted and had to have followers, but my guess is that's how you get followers, is if someone's looking for something. Is that
Right.
how that works?
It is how it works. That's how you
Okay.
get followers, by doing the hashtags. So if you're looking for a realtor and then you put hashtag New Orleans Realtor, hashtag Keller Williams Realtor, you know, it's so many different ones. And the more hashtags, the more places your information will go, because it'll go to that place on Instagram.
Okay. Well,
So if
that's an
somebody
aha.
else is on Keller Williams Realty New Orleans and they're looking for a realtor in New Orleans, they'll see your posts. It could be you with your open house or some of your information that you shared. So for Instagram, the more hashtags, the better.
And what about Facebook? I see a lot of hashtags on Facebook. Does that do the same thing?
Same thing. If you click on it, if you click on that hashtag, it'll take you to that arena where they have all those different segments of different things. That's why everybody uses those hashtags.
That's an aha for me, because I knew about the hashtags, but I didn't know that by clicking on them, it would take you to where you can see everybody that has placed a hashtag. And
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I walked away for a minute. I had to go. But anyway, I missed the part about Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I missed that. I have to catch the
I find it's more effective with hashtags on Instagram. All right, what do you feel differently about? What was meaningful to you today? Anything that you feel differently about that you change your mindset after today, for even if it's one thing?
Well, for me, I liked what you said about sometimes I struggle with what is valuable to my client. And when you talked about sending out a flyer or a postcard, giving them suggestions as far as the COVID, like, sort of like just, I don't want to say common sense, but
Hello?
they may not think, oh, when I come, yeah, I wore gloves outside or I did whatever, but now I come inside, I need to take my shoes off. I need to wash my hands. I need to,
Right.
once I get home, I need to do these things. I think that's valuable information to clients and to prospective clients. So I'm going to call that thinking outside the box, because I personally have a tendency to only think about, even though I want to help my clients, I only think about it as it relates to the house or the
Right.
property or the whatever. So thinking outside and thinking human, that's a good one. And
Right.
that's a good learning point for me. They are human too, and they need maybe some advice that they don't think about. So giving them something that they can refer to is a good and giving value.
Right. Anybody else? Okay. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take going forward? Well, I know you're gonna, Ramona, probably create some really nice flyers now to send to your clients.
I am. Yes, I am. Actually, I was thinking about doing it as a postcard,
Mhm.
because I was thinking about doing it as a postcard because I could, work my farming area, just more general than specific. So yeah.
Yeah, and another one you can do if you like want to do stuff like that on COVID, you can share facts about COVID. Um, what is this disease? Who does it affect? Um, what happens when somebody completed? What are some of the simple things you can do besides, like we talked about, washing your hands, and give them the signs of it: fever, cough. It could be something as simple as that. You can give them that. I think that's valuable as well.
I'm in and out, but I'm in. Can y'all
Okay.
can y'all hear me?
Yes, we
Yes, we
can
can hear you.
that, Kim. And another one too, like I did right away, right when everything was happening, I did something sending my clients to call the 211 number, keep calm, give them a website. You'd be surprised how many people are needing help with stress and anxiety. Give them a phone number to call. And they've been posting it all over the news. Call this number, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, put it in a flyer, create a marketing piece with the stuff you see on the news. Sometimes I'm just looking at the news. I'm like, oh, call 211. Okay, what's that website? Gov/coronavirus. Okay, who do I call for stress? What's the website for unemployment? What's the information for SNAP? If just write it all down when you look. And sometimes I'll snap, take a picture with my phone when they post information on the news. I'll take a picture and I'll go back and I'll create the information, put it in a flyer, email it to my database. It could be something as simple as that. Another flyer that you can create could be something like for your new buyers. Like I prefer sellers, I do both, but for buyers, a lot of times you get first time home buyers, they really don't know all the hidden costs. So you can do something on that. If somebody's looking for a house, um, let them know some of the hidden costs that we don't talk about. We send them these houses, we tell them a lot of different things, but once we find the property, then they find out, oh, there's a homeowner association fee. Oh, explain the mortgage interest to them. Oh, the closing costs, things that they may not be expecting. A lot of times we can get closing costs, but they may not be expecting to pay, 3 to 5%. They may not have that in their savings. What about maintenance? Let them know what it's going to cost. Once you get in this house, this is what you might be paying for. You know, you might have, you might need some money set aside just to clean your gutters, or, you know, a lot of things. We spend probably $3,000 or more just on maintaining our properties. It could be anything about, I don't know, property taxes. Explain that to them. Let them know, look, these are some hidden costs. Renovations. If you're not buying a new house, are you going to have to get, you know, upgraded appliances? You know, it could be something in the yard. You know, a lot of things we see, PMI, a lot of people don't know what that is. Explain that to them, or have your lender talk to them about that. Home insurances, they don't think about that sometimes. And something as simple as utilities. Let them know. I mean, you can create something telling them, for your buyers, these are some of the things that you need to be thinking about. Save your money. These are some hidden costs. You can do something, and I can go on and on with this stuff, y'all. I love doing this kind of stuff. Another one could be for buyers, something like a checklist. You can have something to create for them, and some of these are already done. If you Google it, home buying checklist, it'll pop up, and it could be stuff like finances, get approved, create your monthly budget, research your mortgage options, save for your down payment, establish, maintain your credit, stuff that we take for granted. A lot of people don't. Always checking your credit score. Let them know the documents they're going to need when they get with you, or be working on having these documents, such as your W-2s for the last 2 years, pay stubs for at least 1 to 2 months, tax documents. You need to have that for at least 2 years. Bank statements, 1 to 3 months. Investment account statements. Basically statements for all your debts. Copies of your licenses, you know, whatever. And then of course you have to show some kind of history of residence for the past 2 years. And let them know, say, hey, look, I'm your team. I can help you. I'm your realtor. I can help you with this, help them find a lender if they need. You know, so stuff like that is when I was saying, you know, value to your client. If you're sending that to your database in some kind of form, you know, they'll read that, because that's information that they don't think about. They know they want a house, but they don't think about all those different things. I know I went on for a little bit, but anyway, anything else on that?
That was all good information, even though you said you were going on. It was all good information.
Good. Any other?
I'm definitely going to be doing more like email flyers and
yes,
Facebook flyers.
Yes, it works. They actually, I get calls on those things. I really do.
Yeah, you know, I was stuck on just listings. Hey, this is my listing, but now you've given me the ideas, you know, of doing the more informal, important, personal type information that's not related to real estate.
Right.
Educate
You're
them.
not gonna always have a house to list every day, but this information you're gonna have all the time. It's constant. And so when they have questions, they'll go back to that and they'll think of you and they'll call you and be like, okay, I need to do this. They'll have your checklist with the items, with your information. Now, remember, like that marketing piece, don't forget to put your name, your phone number, your website. Otherwise, they're going to take your information and they'll call another realtor. So you have to still do all those other things, such as following up with them. You know, you give them this valuable information with your contact and then you follow up. Otherwise, they're going to be like, wow, this is great. Oh, this is a checklist. I need this. And then they call somebody else. So you got to make sure that you're giving them information and you're following up with them with that information. Anything else on that, guys?
So I've been, hold on, my house phone is ringing. I don't want that to be a disturbance. So, hold on. So I've been, I've been honing in a lot more on social media, driving that source real strong these days, where I'm just getting more focused on social media, making it a priority or my business to really start learning how to power up on social media, from Facebook to Instagram, Twitter. So anytime I post something, like tomorrow is Earth Day, and so
It's my birthday too, guys.
yes, it is Earth Day and birthday, Sam's birthday. Earth Day was Sam's birthday.
Birthday.
And so like tomorrow I've been campaigning. I should have started like probably last week, but I've got like yesterday I started my campaign and pushing it, rolling over into tomorrow, where you may have seen it out there on social media, just like a quick flash. Earth Day, spend time with your family day, no device activity day. So they'll just get out there and they might, get some chalk or something, draw something earthy, send a positive message to people out there. But then the real drive is connecting my Facebook page. Before you do all that, connect with me. And so I put my Facebook page on that as well, and I just send it out there. So the purpose of all of that is to drive people to my Facebook page and to drive them to my site and to start connecting with me. And so that has been like my focus, getting more versatile, getting more knowledgeable, getting more purposeful in the digital world, like really just honing in on that digital world a whole lot, because what they're saying is that is the new normal, right?
And the other thing too, Kim, you can add your KW app.
Yes.
That's another thing you can add to your emails, your app. Tell them to download your app and put a link. Have your app where they can download, have a link where they can go to your website. And then at the bottom across, have all your social media pages, like your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook. Have all that on one email. And then that way they can go and explore whichever way they want to go.
Yeah. So that's been my drive. So I appreciate that, Sam. That's been my drive, trying to really hone in on the digital social media world. So what they're saying is that we really all need to make those 40 calls a day. 20 calls in the morning and 20 like in the evening, social media, right? Just really putting yourself out there on social media. So when you post something on social media, you're gonna look to see who is connected, who connected with you, who looked at your site. And then, for people that are new, right? Connect with them, ask them to connect with you on social media. So you start your process of making those contacts with them. So like, you don't want to spook them out, and the first time you see them, you may not know them. You just say, add me as a friend, and then they connect. And then you just send a little message, hey, thank you for connecting with me, blah, 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 right? Then you follow up with them until you get comfortable enough to say, do you mind? I'd like to put you on my campaign. Would you mind sending me your email address and a good contact number for me to continue to connect with you? And when they're comfortable, they'll do it. They don't have a problem doing it.
And the goal too in Command, you eventually want to have all the information. You want to know their birthdays, anniversaries. Until they move over to Opportunity, then that way you'll have that house anniversary once you have that closing, because that's the goal eventually, is to really make them our client.
Yes.
And like you were saying, like tomorrow's Earth Day, my birthday. That's another opportunity to send out something. Like Monday, I sent out to my clients, it was Volunteer Recognition Day. Be familiar with all these made up days throughout the year, because they have a lot of them. I sent out a flyer saying Volunteer Recognition Day on April 20th. So just keep up with your calendar, and every time you see something, anytime you have an opportunity to put something out there to your database and to your clients, definitely do that. You want to stay in front of them.
So don't get scared of the virtual world. That's me, right? Don't get scared. Embrace it and just take it in small steps, right? Just do a little bit at a time until you just continue to expand. So like if you want to call the people in your database and just do like coffee morning virtually, right? Just 30 minutes, coffee or tea or whatever, and just have a conversation.
Yes, and don't forget too, while you're making your calls, don't forget to call your vendors.
Yes.
The vendors are very, very important. Your LI partners, they are probably number one. They can get business from your vendors. Don't forget to call and check on your title companies, your lenders,
Yes.
you know, all those people that help your business, your inspectors, you know, just calling, making phone calls. I found out one of my lenders had the coronavirus and his wife was in the hospital on a ventilator. So, you know, they appreciate you calling and checking in on them. So definitely don't forget your vendors, because they always do stuff for them, but very seldom we call and say, hey, let me take you to lunch for your birthday. So just think about doing those things. And then when they get a client, you know, and they'll be like, hey, you know, Samantha took me to lunch for my birthday. I think I'm going to send this client to her. So you always want to keep that relationship with your vendors as well as your clients. So if you don't have any vendors, you need to work on that. You definitely want to have them in your pipeline, and stay in touch with them as well, because they are really, really big in your sphere, and they are in the business and they are doing it every day. So definitely add that to your contacts and your follow-up with, you know, in your business. All right, so daily successes. What are the things we should be doing every day?
Lead generating
Lead generate for sure. What else?
and follow.
Follow-ups, definitely. You always want to update your contacts and do follow-up. What else? 2 more things you should do every day. At least 2 more.
Making yourself relevant through social media, through phone calls,
Yeah.
things like that.
Update contacts, follow-up. What else? 2 more things we should do every day. We've been talking about it this whole time. I know every class you got on, they said to do this.
Lead generating?
We said lead generation. We said update our contacts, follow up. And what's the other 2 things?
The notes.
Okay.
No cards.
Okay, and that comes from what?
Your
Role
dad.
playing.
Yeah. Oh, wait. The note cards.
Scripts. Practice your scripts.
Oh yeah.
Practice your scripts. Practice your scripts. And what's the last thing? Okay, now we got our database. We did our marketing. We got all these clients. What else do you need to be really, really good at, proficient at? Okay, now you got all these buyers. You got all these sellers. Now what?
So this doesn't, I consider this absolute paramount. Every morning, you know, before you get started, you have to have your moment of meditation, your affirmations, right?
Okay.
Because you gotta be purposeful every day with what you're doing.
That's a great
you have a lot of interferences, especially right now, but you gotta be purposeful and you gotta have the right mindset to be focused enough to get it accomplished.
I agree with that. And there's still one more thing y'all not mentioning. That's very crucial.
Is it the closing the contracts or setting the appointments?
Yes. Know your contracts. Contract practice if you're a new agent. You know, our contracts change all the time. Every 2 years, there's some changes, additions, deletions to our contracts. Know your contracts. So say you get this buyer and you go out and they say, oh, I want this house. And it's like, you call the realtor and she's like, oh, I had 10 showings today. And you're like, oh, wow, we want this house. So what are you going to do? If you're like me, I'm writing the contract on the hood of my car. So you need to know your contracts, be familiar with them, be able to explain them. So definitely once you go through all this, know your contracts. You should always have a contract in your car. I know we do DocuSign and all that, but sometimes you don't get a chance to go home and do all that. If it's a property that's hot and it just hit the market, especially, you know, if it's a bank property, those go quick. And you're going to sometimes get clients that, you know, need to write it like right now. Or you might have a client that does not do DocuSign. Some of them don't want to do that. But you should know your contracts, be familiar with them, practice your contract if you don't know it. Be familiar with it, be able to explain it to your client. Because if you get an attorney client, they are going to ask a lot of questions. I'll tell you that right now. So be familiar with it. So that was the other thing. So basically, like Kim said, always have some kind of prayer, whatever you do to meditate in the morning to get your mind right. That's always good. Practice your scripts. So when you have that conversation, you want it to be meaningful. If you're not saying anything to your client, they're not going to be listening. So scripts help you to get on purpose to say something meaningful to your client that they will want to communicate with you. Always lead gen, of course, that's daily. Update your contacts, follow up. You know, you might have a client, you know, his wife just became a realtor. So you might want to know that. You know, you're sending them a lot of stuff and they're like, well, you know, well, my wife is a realtor now, so I would be working hard. You need to know that information. Somebody moved, or if your client had a baby, oh, now they need a bigger home. You know, like right now with COVID, in 9 months, it's going to be a lot of new babies. So some of your clients are going to need bigger homes. So just keep up to see who's pregnant. And, you know, might need, you know, might be want to upgrade to a bigger property. So those are the main things, you know, you definitely want to do on a daily basis. Once again, 10 contacts you want to try to add every day. Try to have 10 conversations a day, 10 handwritten notes, however that looks. It could be an email, it might even be a text now, you know, with all the virtual stuff. And if you do those things on a consistent basis, you should have at least 10 home previews per week, even if it's virtual. All right, so once again, remember your scripts, lead generate, uncover motivations. Your scripts will help you with that, asking the right and the proper questions. Always identify options why somebody want to buy later. I just got a client that wants to rent a house for $2,800 a month. And as much as I tried to convince him, but he feels like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna be here in a year. So if that's what they want, you have to go by what the client wants. So just listen to what they have to say. You know, we might think $2,800 a month, I can get you this fabulous house. But if they want to rent, I mean, and they feel like, okay, well, I'm only going to be here for a year. And this is why I need this kind of house, because he's a personal trainer. So he needs the space. So you just never know what their motivations are. So you always have to listen. Listen to what they want. It's not, you know, because sometimes you'll be like, well, for me, but it's not for you, it's for them. So you always want to listen to your client and put them first. And ultimately, the goal is to close deals. And then, of course, speak in terms that your customer understands. You always want to be approachable, because a lot of times the things that we take for granted, they really don't know. And if you don't tell them, they really won't know. Like it could be something as simple as, you know, you list in their house and they don't keep the water and electric on. You would be surprised. I mean, sometimes you need to say, look, do not cut off the water. Do not, you know, certain things that you take for granted, you have to communicate every single thing to your client. And eventually, by doing all those things, creating that relationship with them, you will build confidence with them to talk to you literally about anything. Sometimes too much. We become counselors. So, and I'm sure a lot of you would agree with that, right?
Right. One thing, one time I was using comps. Remember, be conscious of your lingo, and I kept saying comps. They said, "What is that?"
Exactly. Right. You just never know. Anything else anybody want to add, or any more questions?
Can we go into designs?
Yep, we're ready to hit that.
Yay.
We're going to go into, once again, practice your script. And remember, always have permission to call someone. We do have a do not call list. So definitely do that. And these are the things that we talked about already. And of course, we also have KW Connect as another option you can go to for webinars to get more information. This is the last thing, Katie. If you create your success list, things you want to do, should do, what that task is, and what's the priority. Everybody have a list? You don't have to share it if you don't want to, but definitely create your success list. Some of the things that we talked about today, while it's fresh in your mind, go ahead and write that down. This is what I need to do. This is what I should do. This is the task. And then put it in a priority. So if you write it down now, you can come back to that list and follow up on those things. Ramona, you got your list? Because I know you got some great things you're going to be working on.
I don't, but I will have it. I will have and I will have it filled out today. So first thing after this is create my success list and write down my little notes on my list.
Mm-hmm. Anybody want to say anything about their list they want to share that might spark something for somebody else?
So I can share.
Right.
So my success list is basically every day, the things that I need to do every day to keep success flowing, to keep going. And so every morning from 7 to 7:30, that's to do. I get on the Pivot Zoom meeting from 7 to 7:30, and that's well, no, let me back it up a little bit more. From 5 to 6, that's my meditation time. I do my meditation, get on my prayer line. 6:30, I got a couple of things that I need to do in between that to do, like to take care of my family now. 7 to 7:30 is when I get on the Zoom chat meeting, and that's the Pivot. That's the inspirational morning where I chime in with other agents, Keller Williams agents, or just other agents across the country, and listen in to get inspiration from them and some tidbits. And so they'll go over different pages in the Shift book and the Millionaire book. Mostly they're focusing in the Shift book. From 7:30, at 8 o'clock, 7:30 to 8, I'm either probably, I try not to call people that early unless my clients say, okay, it's okay for me to call them that early in the morning. And if they're okay with that, I do like 30 minutes. I'll do a call in 30 minutes or do some text messaging to follow up or make contact with my clients. 8 a.m. to 8:30, Kathy and I are on the line. That is a to-do. And so every morning we get on the line, still trying to master our 30-minute call, but our accountability session where we do 5 minutes of practicing scripts. So we do care calls or whatever we need to practice with scripts we need to practice. And then, so like, it's just like kind of mapped out. I don't want to go over it because I don't want to take up a whole lot of time, but then the hour in between that time, I'll do lead generating. I'll do some care calls, do my 10 care calls that morning before noonday. And so then I try to make sure that I'm staying knowledgeable of what's happening, COVID-19, just from the financial aspect, business-wise, trying to master my mind with all the virtual world. So I try to connect and stay, catch some of the different webinars or meetings, Zoom meetings that are going on. So I put all of that on my to-do list. What I should do, to do, and should do. So those are the should do. I didn't say to do. I don't have too much to do. Is like me. Okay, in between that, I need to try to cook some food for my family.
Your calendar is like, you do this every day, 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, my schedule is a lot different than that. My day starts about 9. And I may do that from 9 to 12. I spend the morning, with my real estate business, my lead gen. For me, brunch around lunchtime, 12 or something. And then from 1 to 3, like today is different. You have to alter, of course, according to what's on your agenda. And I do change it up, but for the main purpose every day, like from 1 to 3, I try to do something educational. Whether it be working on a skill that I'm not good with. For you, it could be practicing your scripts or whatever it is that you want to work on, learning your contracts. But every day I try to learn something new. And I kind of block out that time for like 1 to 3 just to do something or to be up to date on what's going on, work on something that I can, provide for my clients. Then I try to get my exercise in, probably around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and then dinner. And then after that, the rest is, family time. So my day is a lot different, but I can't get up at 6, but wow, that's awesome. Anybody else? A schedule is important. It's very key. Even right now, when you feel like, you're not going out like you normally would, having a consistent schedule will help you to stay on track as well. So you definitely should have a daily schedule. I always say if it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. If I don't write it down, if I don't have that appointment written down, it's probably not going to happen because you're not going to stick to it. So definitely have a daily schedule. Try to get yourself in the habit of doing it, even if, especially right now, because if you have a schedule every day, you'll be productive and you will get more done because you'll say, oh, sometimes you'll find out you have too much on your calendar. Sometimes I find that I'm like, oh my God, I got all this to do. I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm at home. I have nothing to do technically. But when you put all those things on there, you really have a lot to do if you follow up and do what you're supposed to be doing. So, and of course, keep some time in there for your me time. You don't want to be stressed, because if you are, it come across to your client. You want to be in the right mindset when you're dealing with them.
I wanted to, what you just said, Samantha, about I was told once I didn't have any margin in my schedule. So just remember to schedule enough time in between everything. Don't crowd yourself up or you will become overwhelmed and burn out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So now for the fun. Okay, Katie.
So
Katie,
go ahead and click stop sharing.
All right, and Katie's gonna get us some command design.
Awesome. Okay, y'all, I have a question. What are you using right now to create your marketing flyers, pieces, social media campaigns? Like, what are you using right now?
Nothing. I use
Command.
Nothing.
Command. No, that's fine. That's fine. So whenever I started with Keller Williams, so I don't think I've ever introduced myself, but I'm Katie Crow. I'm agent services at Keller Williams on the West Bank. So I basically help with a little bit of technology, doing the agent onboarding process, signing on new agents and helping them through their first few days, getting LRAC stuff situated, NOMAR situated, creating all their marketing for like an email address, a website, things like that. So whenever I first started, we didn't have Command, and I was using Publisher to create everything. And the reason I use Publisher is because it would save as a JPEG, and I thought that that was the best way to possibly do everything because it's all that I knew. Until Command came out, which is very similar to anybody who's not a KW agent. It's very similar to Canva, if you've ever heard of that. Hang on one second, I'm gonna start sharing my screen.
I want to be able to add my picture.
Can y'all see Matrix?
Oh wait, hold on.
Yes, I see it.
Awesome. So yeah, similar to Command, if you're not with KW, is something like Canva. And it is a little bit, it's probably I think $9.99 a month, but it'll give you backgrounds and things to play off of and words that you can add and things like that. So for KW agents, who can tell me how I get to Command? What's the website?
Agent.kw.com.
Good job. That's the first step, getting there.
Where did you click this?
Okay, y'all. So I'm going to move us around. This is my command. To navigate the side on the left right here, I always click the red KW so that I can see everything that we have here to the left. One thing that I do want everyone to do before you start creating anything in Command at all is to go in your settings and make sure that all of your social media accounts are linked. Make sure all of your MailChimp is created. That's what you have to run campaigns. Your DocuSign, make sure it's connected. So before anything, make sure that you go link these accounts, okay?
I thought we weren't using MailChimp anymore.
We are using MailChimp now. So create a MailChimp and it will help with campaign ads. You just choose the free option.
And you may already have one. When I got ready to create one, I found out I had one. I don't remember when or how long ago, but just make sure, check to see if you have one already. You might.
Yeah, definitely. So after you check if your accounts are linked, we go to designs right here. And I am heavy in designs. I think that's why Sam is letting me help her right now. So I'm going to go in here, and congratulations to someone who jumps first, but I will create you a just listed flyer if you give me an address or an MLS number. Who wants to jump on it?
Me, I'll do it.
Okay, hang on one second. So whenever you go into designs, you see email, landing page, social media, print material, agent site, and video at the top. This is just the different types of formats that Command can create for the marketing material. And basically what it does, it changes it from the shape, the size, so that it fits Instagram, it fits Facebook. So if you were creating a background on Facebook, there's that option. Just things like that. It maneuvers the size and all that. So as you can see, I've been working on a few things here. This is how I create all of my Ignite, who's hosting what class. This is how I create my new agent announcements, all of our Instagram stories, things like that. And Ramona, we just created an Instagram for our office, so do not feel bad. It's never too late to start. So this is our Instagram for the office that we just started.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So we're getting there, and I just linked all of our accounts. And I used, to make these stories, I used Command for that design. So we're going to click the plus to start. And I'm going to choose social media for Sam to post on Facebook. Click it and click next. And let me move this again. All right, and then this is where it opens its editing format view. Sam, do you know the MLS number?
2244.
Oh, 1 second. Give me just a minute.
Let me give you the one on Avenue.
Okay.
2244.
Hang on just a second. Let it load. I don't know why it's taking forever.
Katie, you might have to open it through Chrome.
I am in Chrome.
Oh.
I don't know if it has anything to do with sharing. Or I have like 1,000 things pulled up right now. Let's see, hang on. Un momento, y'all. Okay, still says loading. Okay. Sorry about this, y'all. Technical difficulties. Ooh. All right, here we go. Okay, if this doesn't work, we're just gonna go in right here and edit one that I've already created, make it Sam's.
It might be your internet, Katie.
Yeah, I'm just having some troubles, y'all.
I think it's just command because I'm trying to log in too, and my designs is extra slow as well. So
Of course, because we're trying to use it.
Exactly. I think we're all 20 people. We done knocked it out.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, this is one that I did the other day as practice for Renee Ferreira's listing that she just had come up last week. But yeah, I don't know why this isn't.
Could you just like kind of walk us through it just a little bit, Katie? Because I'm gonna try to play with mine later. I'm not right in front of my computer, but if you can kind of walk us through it just a little bit. I know it's not working.
Tell them the kind of stuff they can create too, Katie.
Yeah, so whenever you go in and you click add on the social media part, it'll bring up a huge list. So you can click on the listing, the buyer, the I love KW, all types of tabs. And then once you click on those, more will drop down of just listed, sold, client appreciation will post, just things like that. And you can go in to whichever one you want to, click on it, and then the pre-formatted one will pop up with probably someone's face that you've never met that we don't even know. But yeah, that's just showing you where you could put those pictures of either your client or them ringing a closing bell, holding their keys, things like that, to show client love. But whenever you go into like, say, like a just listed and you click it, there's on the left side, I'm basing this all off of memory, but on the left side, there's KWLS at the bottom, and you can click that. And then you can format it to where when you type in an MLS number, it'll bring up that listing from MLS and give you all the pictures right there. So if you just listed the property, you put it in MLS and it's in KWLS, that is when it can be pulled in command. So I pulled all of these pictures, like all of the pictures that are on MLS popped up for Renee's listing, and I could choose and like pick which one I wanted to promote and put on the flyer. So yeah, it's you can pull the pictures from the KWLS, you can add pictures from the image part, you can add text, you can play with the text to maneuver it. It's all touch and click and drag. And then at the very top, you can change colors of the words. There's a download button. You can download it as a PDF, a JPEG, a PNG, all different types of formats are available. And then once you've downloaded it or you've saved it in your command, you can then go to Smart Plans and upload it from there. So it's a platform for a reason where you can pull different things from different areas of command and use them for advertising purposes. Sorry y'all that it's not working. I'll video myself playing with it whenever it is and just send that out to y'all.
That'd be great.
I have a question, Katie. So you basically go in, you create your flyer, and then when you're done, how do you get it to social media?
You have to link all of your accounts to command. So once your Facebook is linked and your Instagram is linked, then you go to campaign and you can upload the design and then put where you want it to go, when you want it to go there, you know, things like that, and what you want it to say.
Okay.
And you can also save it too and then directly just go to your Facebook and post it that way too.
Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
I was saying you could also save it and actually go into your Facebook and post it.
Okay.
Do it that way as well.
Okay.
Katie's way is easier, but you can, that's a second option if you can't figure it out.
The reason that I'm also learning smart plans and campaigns right now. So it's all a learning process. But the reason that I think it's crucial to make sure that all of your accounts are business accounts are so that you can see who's reaching your post, how many people are reaching it, is it effective? If it is being reached at a high level, do you need to boost it? Is it something that's worth your time putting a little bit of money in to get a return on it? So like with our Instagram account, it's all new to me. I've never done a business Instagram. Yet just little things like this and seeing, you know, it'll post. Maybe just the internet completely. Like it'll say on my profile promotions and contacts. So whenever they're on Instagram, they can click contact and it pulls up our phone number for them to immediately click. So that's why I think definitely have it separated your business account from your personal account so that you can get those features that Instagram and Facebook offer to follow and track your performance. So with our Facebook account, we get to see who reached the post and things like that. So I feel like that's if you have a just listed or just sold and you wanted to see, Command is helpful because it usually shows you, 26 people reached it, 3 engagements, things like that, and then the option to boost the post. And in Command right now, there is a $25 off of a $75 paid campaign. So if you have, material that you want to get out there and boost it, definitely look into that. So I will video us. I'll probably see if Keitha or Sophia want to come on and we can just try to talk about Command and see if we can get it to work. And I'll send that out in the recap email.
Okay.
But I also have additional help links for Command on how to market your profile, connect your applications, and get started with campaigns. So I'll attach that to the email as well. Awesome. Sorry about this, y'all.
No, that's awesome. It's so valuable. We appreciate it, Katie. And thank you for everybody else who's been on here with us today. We appreciate your time. And I know we have a link for you to do your feedback, so you can do that. We appreciate it as well. Any other questions before we end? Or comments or anything you want to add?
Just again, I want to thank you guys for sharing with me, or just sharing this information to, because I feel like all of us, we are in this together, not just the COVID, but the business. And this is really inspiring how much information you guys are sharing. It's just very inspiring, and I want to say thank you.
Awesome. And if y'all have any questions later or you think of something that we didn't cover, definitely reach out to myself or Katie and we'll be glad to help you any way we can.
Thank you all so much. Tomorrow's Ignite Elementals number 3 is on open houses. So it'll definitely tie in with today's class on marketing your open houses.
All right, guys. Thank you. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, guys.